Hello everyone, Chris Assis here, and today we will be working on details. The details that we are required to pay attention to when we are actually taking a step. And we will look at a wide range of things, starting from the foot and going all the way up into the torso, and at the same time seeing how these two things that are far apart from each other, how they connect through the movement of the spine. And within all these things, within all these connecting lines, we will find the proper timing and the right moment to create the pivot. So we will not be looking at Ochos in this video, but we will do it the next time. We will though find the opportune moment to introduce the pivot. So enjoy. So we're going to start with swinging the arms back and forth. So don't worry about anything else. Just swing your arms in a very relaxed way, and just focus on that. It doesn't have to be as high as I'm doing it, doesn't have to be as fast as I'm doing it. You just find your pace. And then when you're ready, instead of shaking the arms, swinging the arms, you just twist the torso like I'm doing here. And just be careful that you don't, slap yourself or something. So just let the arms float around. Don't worry about the arms at all. And you make your way down. Now we're doing the hips, and we don't care about anything else. All our focus is in the hips. And we're just twisting the hips. And now we're going down to the knees, and all our focus is down to the knees. And we're really taking our mind to that, and down all the way to the base, to the feet, to the toes, and now the whole body. And here you want to find a tempo that starts from the middle of your body, and feel free to take your mind to the different parts like we did before, but keep on moving, so you're not stopping or one part and moving just the other. So you want a continuous motion that goes through the whole body, through the spine, warms up the spine, and helps you become aware of how all the parts can move together. And slowly start slowing things down so you can come back to center. So the reason we did that little bit of a shaking is that we're going to be using it here in our walks. So let's see, you're going to start with a swing, and you're going to notice that in this swing, it's all these twists that we did before. And then as you shift the weight, you're not going to stop right there in the middle. You're going to keep going, but a lot slower. And I want you to take all your focus to the feet. So take your mind to the feet. Just notice what they're doing. Don't stop the movement. Just notice what they're doing, where you're landing, and how you're managing the weight shift between your 2 feet. It is important to notice that this twist is the one that we arrived to, the one that, the one right at the end of our warm-up exercise. And it from the base into the knees, into the hips, into the center, into the torso, into the arms, there is movement happening, and different parts have smaller movement than others, but it's imperative to realize that there is movement everywhere. Similarly, here when you're shifting the weight, there is movement everywhere. It's just that our focus now is at the feet, and we want to see how we can manage to shift the weight as smoothly as possible from one foot to the other. So, what happens when we zoom in? Let's see. So you can see how the whole body is moving here, and then As similarly as I'm shifting the weight, the body is also changing, and the arms are changing, the hips are changing. But if we focus on the feet just for this exercise, see how I land on the outer part of my foot, and then gradually I make my way into center. So I want you to feel like you're massaging your feet on the floor, going from the outer cushy part over the metatarsal towards the big toe. So it is a nice smooth massage from your for your feet on the floor, and that's why I encourage you to start without shoes. So let's sit here, outer part, and then towards the middle, and then over to the big toe so you can propel yourself forward. Let's take a quick focus on the standing leg. So as you can see, there's a little bit of movement, and now as I'm pushing, I'm going to give myself a final push from the big toe right there. So that's also important, not to get stuck and think that it's from the whole foot that we're pushing. We need that extra propeller from the big toe. So you can see it here, right there, to be able to finish off that shift of weight. So the 2 feet are talking to each other, and you can see how it happens when we go back. And I'm trying here to exaggerate and show you my toes, but they are talking to each other, and they're doing the almost the opposite. So when we go back, big toe towards the outer part of the foot, while at the same time, when we push back, the standing foot goes out and towards the middle of the heel. So the 2. Now we're going to do the same exercise, but we're going to take our focus to the upper body. So what does the upper body do? And here's a very serious myth that you don't move your body when you're dancing tango, but that is, and I hope you've reached to the same conclusion after many videos on this, impossible. So your body is moving. It's not moving as much as we're doing it here, because you don't need to swing your leg or swing your arms, right? So it is moving a lot less, and we're going to practice on that in just a second, but it is moving. So we want to find that movement, and we want to find how it coordinates with what we were focusing on before, meaning the feet. So here you take your focus over the upper body. You don't think about the feet anymore. You thought about them before, and you try to see that torso twist that happens. Is it the only movement that happens? And the answer is no. It's not the only movement that happens. So there is a twist. There is a little bit of a side bend that we've been talking about in the last videos. And there is also a little bit of an arch and a curve. So you might be able to see the curve here as I'm collecting my leg, and the arch here as I'm extending back. So curve and arch as you're extending back. So let's see what happens when we take that forward step. Of course, we have the twist, and as we shift the weight, the body will adjust slightly and side bend. I hope that you're able to see. This is not the best angle, I know, but if you look at my shoulders, you will see that they're not square in any on any plane. So one is always down compared to the other, and one is always back compared to the other. So there's always a little bit of an arch, and I'm exaggerating here so you can see it a little bit better. So it is important to be able to find these movements. They're not clear as here. This is an exaggeration, but feel free to exaggerate yourself just to notice it, to make it more obvious. So similarly here, just trying different angles to see if this could help out. So this is the interesting part. Especially when we go when we are in between the 2 feet, when we're going backwards or forward, we feel stuck. And one of the reasons we feel stuck is that because we don't allow the body to do all these micro movements. And again, they are all exaggerated. So you don't usually allow the body to twist, and you don't also allow it to side bend. You try to keep it square. So when we try to keep it square, we get stuck. So instead of doing that, exaggerate now and practice these motions. So when you're going to go dancing, you're going to feel them happening inside your body. They're not going to be visually seen, but they're there. So this is going to be a tough one. Let's see. You're going to exaggerate these movements so much that they are going to lead you through the step. Imagine you're a puppet and that your upper body is, you're a strange puppet. Your upper body can freely move, but your lower body can't. And your upper body needs to do all the work to lead you through. So it's going to be really, and you can see how exaggerated this is, to really hard work for the upper body to do this, to manage this movement. So you take the movements that we zoomed in just before, and you exaggerate them so much that they are the ones that are dragging the legs. And this is for us to explore many different things. One of the things we are exploring is the connection between the upper and the lower body, obviously. But we're going to get a little bit deeper into that, and we're going to see, and I want you to really try to free up the legs for it. Really give the upper body all the work. If you free up the legs enough, you will start to feel that your legs do not stop at your hips, but they are somehow connected to your diaphragm. And that is actually accurate because the psoas, a muscle that really goes deep into the hip, wiggles its way upward all the way close to the diaphragm. So try to feel that here. So this is what I'm asking you to do. Really big body movement through the step. So see how I'm leading, I'm trying to take my leg forward and then pull my weight over to that new axis, right? So we're not letting the feet manage the work, but we are doing it through the upper body. So I'm leading my feet. And now you can see the curve and the twist and the side bend even more clearly. And I want you to exaggerate as much as you can. See how it curves here as the leg passes, as the leg starts to swing. You see all these movements. They are there in your walks, only they are internal, and we don't see them as clearly. And it's interesting to be able to feel these connections, like the psoas, from the hips all the way into the upper body. It's very, very liberating when you start to realize all these connections. So, normal walks. You see, I've put my shoes on. Just normally walking, trying to recreate that swingy feeling, even though we can't really swing this much because this is supposedly in a dance. So try though to carry some of that feeling with you. That is very important. And our latest discovery, I mean, you might have already known if you've opened up any anatomy book, you would have seen the psoas reaching upward. But now it's interesting if you've felt it in the previous exercise to see if you can feel it here too. So take your focus in any of the interesting parts that, or the parts that interested you more. It might be the psoas discovery. It might be the side bending of the body. Might be the curve and the arch of the spine. I don't know. It might be any tiny detail of what we've worked on before. Take your mind to it. I'm not going to tell you where you need to focus on here, or maybe you don't want to focus on anything. You just want to walk, because that's also very important. Just walking, not focusing on anything, just being there at the moment with your body moving. That's also very important. So if you can, give yourself some time for that too. And last but not least, the ocho opportunity. We've done all that, all this twisting, all this side bending, all this for this moment. So you start walking and you realize that there is a moment that your body is twisted over that front leg. But then that moment gets lost when you collect the foot. So here we are. In this moment, this is your ultimate twisting moment. If you get past that, you're going straight to the front. But if you give yourself more, you can do a pivot. So let's see it again. We start by walking just to get a feeling for it. And then here at this moment, it's a moment to choose. Do you bring that leg in and get back to almost square, or do you take advantage of this twist that you can see in my upper body, give yourself a little bit more? So let's say it again. You're walking forward. Notice the moment of opportunity right here. It's coming. Let me see. Here. If you bypass it, you go back to square and you're ready to move forward again. If you don't, let's see it again. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. There. Give yourself a little bit more and pivot. So one more time. You start to walk, trying to time it, trying to find that moment, which is not yet, but here. A little bit more of a lead, and you pivot.